Yeah, I'm back. Welcome to Healing the Divide, produced by Methodology Books. Again, we won't discuss news and politics for the sake of discussion. Our responsibility is the bigger picture. I wanted to mention something very briefly. Remember I mentioned that the same way that Trump constantly repeats lies until people accept it or believe it, he even made a comment about himself that that people keep lying and repeating enough long enough people to believe it. That's been his philosophy long before politics.
It's funny. You say it enough times and people start to believe it too. That's the scary part. They are, it's like a whole con job. It's misinformation, disinformation.
These people call themselves patriots. You got to keep reminding and keep mentioning over and over again. Like, don't let things come to you, news cycle and then move on to the next. Make them news people and make everybody else keep coming back to the same subject over and over again. They say America first, right? They say America first. They're great patriots. Yet, when Biden secured the release of these different people from Russia, normal people would be happy and celebrating the fact that their fellow Americans are home. Give Biden his props for that moment. Even if you're running against him, give him his props for the moment. That was a good job. There was a time that what Trump does would be considered treasonous. He criticizes Biden, doesn't spend any time in just being happy and celebrating for the families, the Americans who were freed, making them the first subject. He spends his time criticizing Biden for how the trade went, how many people were this, how many were that.
By the way, I'd like to congratulate Vladimir Putin for having made yet another great deal. Did you see the deal we made? Now, look, we want to get people in. We got 59 hostages. I never paid anything.
And he praised Putin for making a great deal. There's a time that would have been straight considered treason. And then when he complains about Biden and what had to be given, how many criminals, how many whatever were released in the world, how many bad people were released, you got to keep reminding the people. When Biden became president and exited Afghanistan, remind the people that Biden said he's going to honor what Trump put in place and honor the timetable that Trump promised for leaving Afghanistan. Because he could have said, listen, my predecessor may have made some deals, may not be so cool, we need to renegotiate. He didn't do that. He said he's going to honor the time frame that Trump put in place, which made pressure. And also remember that Trump's so-called negotiation, look, remember this. Trump is the man who has a book out called The Art of the Deal, which is ghostwritten for him by somebody else. So remember, he doesn't know the art of the deal. His many bankruptcies and everything else he has wrong is proof he has no idea what he's doing. But when he so-called negotiated, two things to keep in mind. He didn't negotiate with the Afghan authorities, the people who were actually put in place to run the things in Afghanistan. He negotiated with the Taliban. He negotiated with them. And he released 5,000 of their people as part of the negotiation. And he's talking about Biden releasing people into the world? Keep reminding people over and over again what he did. Keep reminding people because we forget. Sometimes selective amnesia. Sometimes we forget because the society has conditioned us to move from news cycle to news cycle. So once you catch on to one thing, they flood you with a whole lot of other things so you don't remember what took place. But go back and remember, look it up for yourself. How many people Trump released in his negotiating with the Taliban and the time frame that he set that made it almost impossible for Biden to do anything unless he would have said, let's renegotiate.
A viral tweet claims Donald Trump agreed to release 5,000 Taliban prisoners as part of the Doha Agreement, signed in February of 2020. But is that true? Let's verify. Our sources are U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, the U.S. Congressional Research Service, and the Council on Foreign Relations.
Today we have taken a decisive step toward peace, real peace in Afghanistan.
That's what former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo said back in February of 2020, following the signing of the Doha Agreement, a deal to pursue peace between the Trump administration and the Taliban during a meeting in Doha, Qatar. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the agreement was an important initial step, but that much more work must be done to achieve peace. There were several conditions as part of the agreement. They included pledges that the U.S. would withdraw its troops from Afghanistan by May 1st, 2021, and that the Taliban would not allow any of its members, other individuals or groups, including Al-Qaeda, to use the soil of Afghanistan to threaten the security of the United States and its allies. Another condition of the agreement was that the U.S. would work on a plan for the release of combat and political prisoners being held in Afghanistan. Per the agreement, the Afghan government would release up to 5,000 Taliban prisoners, and the Taliban would release 1,000 prisoners. According to the U.S. Congressional Research Service, the prisoner exchange agreement was completed by early September 2020. So we can verify, yes, Donald Trump agreed to release 5,000 Taliban prisoners as part of the Doha Agreement, signed in February of 2020. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Everything that went bad with that was bad, but everybody only sees the end that Biden caught with it. But remember, that whole negotiation, the whole arrangement was made by Trump before Biden even got elected. And remember again, Trump released 5,000 Taliban people. They're fighters, they're whatever the case may be, he released 5,000. That was his deal. That's his art of the deal. Again, don't get tired of repeating the facts, because that's what they count on. They're so bent on what they're going to do, they won't stop. But the people who care about good get tired, get fatigued, but you got to not get tired. Look, we're not on some field shooting guns and battling and rolling around in the dirt trying to avoid getting hit by bullets, or fighting and wrestling and punching. We're simply able to sit at home or wherever else behind a keyboard and keep typing the same words over and over again. Keep, what I encourage people to do, join Truth Social and go straight to Donald Trump's, all of the people, especially Donald Trump's account directly, everything that says something about Trump, and troll it. Keep pumping the same thing. Keep typing the same thing, but you release 5,000 Taliban. You release, you're this, you're that. Wear him out. We have to not get tired of fighting. Because what we really do, look, and all we have to do is use our keyboards. People are keyboard warriors in all kinds of ways when they're harassing their fellow Americans or calling somebody names or whatever the case may be. But we can actually fight with this new technology. Because one, he's thin-skinned, and two, you keep making the facts come up. Keep on posting on all the social media, but Trump released 5,000 Taliban. Trump released. Keep posting it over and over again. Keep sharing each other's posts over and again with the same thing. Flood the zone. Let the algorithms, let the Google searches, everything come up, the highest searches. How many people, go to Google. Everybody go to Google and search. How many people did Trump release in the Taliban exchange? Did Trump deal with the Taliban or the Afghan Authority? Keep making those Google searches go up. We have the ability to fight in many different ways, so I'm just suggesting that as one. But we got to be willing to do it. Don't get tired of wearing them out. You want to take back the country, take back the society for sane people, then what we have to do is we got to be prepared to understand that the people that you're fighting against, they're not reasoning with you. You see every chance they get, they're breaking the rules. They're not reasoning. They're bent on something, and the shame is the people who follow them are being used as fodder. They could care less about the people on the ground, the general people who call themselves M.A.G.A. They care less about them. They haven't done anything for them yet. They care less about them. They despise them. On the one side, while Trump is saying one thing, on the other side, he's selling them and grifting off of them. He sells them sneakers. Black people aren't buying those sneakers. Even though people try to claim it's outreach, they're not buying it. His people, he's grifting his people, these poor people who work or on Social Security, whatever the case may be, he's tearing them up. So let us try some of these strategies. Keep searching Trump in Google and his negotiation with the Taliban. Let's bring that to a place where it's high on the Google search. Post and what you find, you don't have to take my word for it. What you find, post it every social media that you've joined. Post what you found. Let these things constantly become high on the algorithm. And these people who come into your groups or come on your page with bringing negative or opposing, they understand that the algorithms are such that people have a tendency for loving controversy. People love controversy, gossip, and drama. So if I go on someone's post, or I go into a group that's, say for example, anti-Trump, anti-oppression, and I go in and I say something that's pro-Trump or something that's insulting, many people in the group tend to be more inclined to respond to what I said, which raises my posts, raises my comments higher and higher in the algorithm in that group. People go on Twitter, different places, YouTube, and they say things controversial because they know people are going to come in more inclined to fighting them, which raises their viewing of their videos. They count on it because that's the way it goes, because we people have a tendency to just want to beef as opposed to combating things. So you have to let those people die in darkness somewhere, let their posts just go into the dustbin of history. Stop feeding into the people who are deliberately being negative and trying to get your attention, and keep promoting the things that advance what we're trying to do. You know, if you agree with me and you share my videos, then maybe somebody else will get something from it on another point. Maybe one point in my video you agree with, and you share the video, maybe somebody else gets something else from it, right? Sure, my videos are going to go up in viewership and all that kind of stuff. Fine, sure, it helps me. But I'm saying to you, forget that part for a minute, because I'm not trying to. This is why I was using my animated characters, but I'm being made aware that people don't like it. You know, the only thing AI in it was I get the voices from online, but those animations, those are images that I take and I turn into animations and then connect them and sync with the voice. But people don't like it, so I'm trying to do the videos myself because I want to bring the point. I want to make the point, but I'm not trying to become some new influencer. I'm not trying to become some YouTube person. I was using those because I just wanted to bring the message out. So now I'm talking to you direct. So I'm saying, if you share this video, you know, like and subscribe and all that, so you know when more are coming out, it'll make more people get to see it, and maybe some people will respond to it. But we really have to troll these people. The internet has given us common folk an ability to have a hand in what's going on. We don't have to just watch the news on TV. You know, remember that statement, that phrase? There are people who make things happen, people who watch what happens, and people who wonder what happened. We're actually in position now through technology that we can be a part of making things happen. We can literally put our fingers on this thing too. So if you come up with other ideas, let's all think tank. Let's all come together and find ways that we can be involved with the impact of what's going on. And one of the things I said is, you control, keep on posting how many people he released. Put it side by side. Remember, post what he said about Biden's negotiation of these people who just got freed, and then follow it up with what he did with the Taliban. Keep putting those things together so people can keep seeing the comparison. And then also post how they claim that they're the real Americans, they're the real patriots, they love this country, but we have a president who got Americans freed, and the person that they're supporting is congratulating Putin instead of Biden. He speaks evil of his fellow American who's done nothing except run against him for president. He's speaking evil of this woman who's running against him for president, and has nothing but compliments for Xi Jinping. So keep reminding the people of these things. I'm just really excited about the fact that we have an ability to do something different. In the 70s, 60s, when I grew up, we didn't have this advantage. You know, I was telling somebody the other day, you could watch a movie back in those days where, let's say, somebody has an issue with one of their enemies. They could actually drive across town because the enemy is in a car, and nobody can give that person a warning because we didn't have cell phone, and only specific type of people had a car in their phone, right? So a lot of movies had to be written a different way. Now, because people have access to reaching somebody right away, look, they're coming for you, whole storylines have to change. So I'm saying now with technology, being careful, the people have the ability to make a difference. And I'm asking you all to take advantage of your ability to make a difference. Study, research, get prepared with true, accurate information, and flood the zone with what's right. Thanks for your time.